May I come in?
आ जाओ यार. Please
Thank you, sir.
take your phone. Introduce yourself. We are 4 people जो कि jointly interview करेंगे.
Fine, sir.
Please.
Sir, my name is Sohail Afridi. I basically belong to the ex-FATA Khyber district, which was previously Khyber Agency before the merger of FATA. I obtained my primary education from a government school in my village. Then I did my O and A levels from High Tech Emiri School, Texla, and Lahore Grammar School, Islamabad, respectively. After my A levels, I got admission in Qaid Azam University to study my BSc in International Relations (IR) in 2019. In 2022, by the KB Public Service Commission, I was recruited as a Naib Tahsildar, and just 2 months ago, I am posted as Naib Tahsildar Irrigation in the district Peshawar. As for my extracurricular activity domain is concerned, in school, I was elected twice to the student body as head boy. In college, I led my cricket team as a captain, and in university, I was elected as a general secretary to the departmental society. Now, that's all on my part.
So currently you are serving as Naib Tahsildar.
Sir.
Sohail, you are competing for the civil services of Pakistan.
Yes, sir.
You tell us about Pakistan. What do you know about Pakistan?
Sir, Pakistan is a developing country in the South Asian region. It comprises of 4 provinces. It holds a lot of potential when it comes to its people, its resources, its place in the world politics, in the regional politics. In fact, its people are very hardworking, very aspiring. It is a multi-ethnic nation, I would say. There are Punjabis, Pashtuns, Sindhis, Balochis, Gilgitis, Kashmiris, and some other minor ethnicities living in this country. And sir, Pakistan is a very significant and a very important player when it comes to the regional and international politics.
What is the population of Pakistan?
So the total population of Pakistan, according to the recent digital census, is 241 million.
240.
Okay, sir.
How you will define the constitution and constitutionalism?
Sir, constitution is a document which delineates the power in a particular country among the different institutions, madam. And constitution is a way of how the government should conduct itself, and it defines the relationship between the citizens and the government and the state, in fact.
What is your understanding of rule of law?
Sir, rule of law means that in any country, in any entity, law must be followed. Not a particular person, not a particular institution, not a particular entity, but law, whatever the law defines for any individual, for any institution, the same individual institution must conduct themselves according to the law. And in case they violate the law, they must be accountable before the same law.
How you will differentiate between international relations and diplomacy?
Sir, international relations is a broader phenomena. It is a broader domain, and diplomacy falls within that particular domain. And sir, international relations is the interaction between the different states, and those interactions are actually executed by diplomacy, which is the art of how a particular state representative, a particular diplomat, further and promote the national interest which is entrusted to him or her by the state institutions. Like for example, in Pakistan, the diplomats through different channels, they are recruited, for example, through the CSS, and they have to serve in other countries, and they have to promote the Pakistan national interest. And the art of doing so is, sir, diplomacy.
How many districts have been created in FATA?
7 districts, sir.
7 districts. And how many subdivisions?
Sir, I don't remember the subdivision number.
What is the total population of FATA area?
So the total population is 6 million and some 20 lakh.
And what is the total area of FATA?
So total area of FATA is 27220.
War is going on between Israel and Hamas.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think? What is the possible solution which is in the foreseeable future?
Sir, the possible solution, obviously solutions are very clear according to the United Nations, according to the international line, according to the consensus reached by the international community. There is the two-state solution. But sir, as your question demands, how the two-state solution can be achieved, that can be by pressurize. The international community has to pressurize the Israelis, because so far the international community, the international institutions, the great powers, they are actually abetting in somehow abetting the Israel in executing their non-compliance with the two-state solution proposed by the international community. But I think international pressure, economic boycott, especially by the Muslim world, will force Israel to consider the solution proposed to it.
What is the outcome of Ukraine war with Israel, with the USA, with the USSR, with Soviet Union?
The Ukraine.
Russia.
Okay, sir. Sir, the outcome are not yet clear because the war is already ongoing, but there are obviously some repercussions already unleashed by the war, and that is, it has, sir, diverted attention from the Afghanistan quagmire, even from the Palestinian issue. And sir, the other effects of this war is obviously the disruption in the global supply chain, and obviously some arms race between the major power, especially Russia and NATO.
Obviously, thank you.
What are bureaucratic rigmaroles?
I have to check it, sir. I don't.
Red tapeism?
Yes, sir. Sir, red tapeism is actually those inefficiencies which are found in offices, in the execution of certain policies. So red tapeism is actually related to those activities, to those mindset which proves as hurdles, as obstacles for the smooth execution of any project, any policy.
It is said that our bureaucratic machinery is over-centralized. The working of our bureaucratic machinery is over-centralized.
Yes, sir.
There is a lot of stress on rules and regulations. So, what can you propose so that we can rid ourselves of this malaise?
Sir, the centralization of bureaucracy means that obviously there are very few institutions involved in the recruitment, in the training, and of the diplomats, of our diplomatic mission officials. So obviously, if this power can be relegated somehow to the provincial level, for example, sir, in CSS, the foreign service.
No. Please try to understand.
Okay, sir.
You said red tapeism.
Sir.
Time is wasted. A lot of time is taken in decision making. You see, that hurts public interest. So, what can you propose to improve the working of a bureaucratic machinery, and so that it gets rid of this problem?
Sir, this can be done by making the process more transparent through the employment of the latest technology. For example, the process should be made more public, and the public should have scrutiny so that the process can be followed. So I think the employment of technology can be one of the solutions to get rid of this tapeism. And secondly, sir, accountability is very important. All those officials which are involved in the entire chain of a particular decision making should be held accountable with regard to the time, with regard to the resources used, and with regard to their even intentions.
As a DPO, what will you do to check police high-handedness?
Sir, police high-handedness, as we witness in certain incidents, can be checked. For example, by accountability. All those officers which are sent to the field, the SHOs, the ASPs, they should be accountable to the higher authorities, for example, and the public should be involved. In case the police is involved in some handedness, the public should be encouraged to report them to a particular station which are exclusively dedicated to the police working.
No, how will you ensure that as a DPO?
Sir, Sir, as a DPO, I will summon and I will ask for 2 reports in a single month regarding the working of any DP of any official that is working under me in a particular area.
Dr. Ishrat is one of the personalities you like.
Sir.
He is the same, Dr. Ishrat Hussain.
Sir.
So he headed a high-powered committee on administrative reforms. And it proposed a number of measures to be introduced in the administrative machinery of a country.
Sir.
So what were those proposals put forward by this committee, and whether those have been implemented or not?
Sir, Dr. Ishrat Hussain, he has worked diligently by writing very good books, including The Governing the Ungovernable and the committee, sir, you mentioned. He came up with certain proposals, and those proposals were that all the administrative and institutional inefficiency should be removed. The country should focus on the education, on human development index. Pakistan should work on these fields. And sir, he also came up with to do away with the religious extremism, for example, and a number of other reforms. But sir, obviously his reforms were hard. They were very innovative, but in full spirit, I think they were not all implemented.
Administrative reforms, please, when you go back, have a check on it.
Fine, sir.
Where is International Court of Justice based?
Yes, it is in Hague.
It's in Hague. What do you mean by extradition, and how it is effective?
Sir, extradition means that if in a particular country some criminal is meant and another country requests its extradition from another country, so that is the process of extradition. But as the second part of your question is that it is through the Interpol. Through the Interpol plus the cooperation of that particular country where a criminal is meant is staying.
Does it require a treaty also?
Sir, a treaty between the two countries is required. There are certain countries, sir, in the world which don't have that bilateral treaty, which require the other state to extradite a particular person. But there are many countries which are entered into this treaty.
Okay. One of your weakness you have written is emotional attachment to places and people where I live.
Sir.
What's so bad about it? It is a very positive thing from my point of view. I mean, emotional attachment to places and people where I live.
Sir,
how can it be your weakness?
Sir, it is good as long as you are staying with them. But when you are leaving them, obviously, so sir, somehow it hurts. For example, if I live in some particular country, in some particular region, I interact with those people, the children, the students, the people around. Obviously, when I leave them and I come back home, for some days, for some 10 to 15 days, I usually think of them.
Okay.
Welcome to CSPs Academy for CSS PMS preparation. CSS PMS तहरीरी इम्तिहान के तमाम मज़ामीन की ऑनलाइन और ऑन कैंपस तैयारी के साथ साथ सब्जेक्ट सिलेक्शन, असाइनमेंट चेकिंग, क्लास टेस्ट, मॉक एग्जाम, इंडिविजुअल टीचर डिस्कशन और फीडबैक सेशन का इनकाद किया जाएगा। इसके अलावा FPSC की तजवीज़ करदा बुक्स से बने मयारी नोट्स और CSPs पब्लिशर की बेहतरीन बुक्स मुहैया की जाएंगी।
Sohail Afridi, your third option is Foreign Office, and you have studied foreign policy. What is your view on Pakistan's foreign policy?
Madam, Pakistan foreign policy, I believe there is a word used mostly by the foreign policy expert, proactive foreign policy. I think our foreign policy, madam, is not proactive. It is just reactionary to any particular event. It must be made more proactive, more innovative. Madam, multiple stakeholders in the country must be involved. It shouldn't be narrowed down to just few stakeholders. Public input should be there. The intelligentsia, the academics, the university students, they must be involved so that the foreign policy could be more effective, more innovative, and more attractive and more effective, in fact.
Do you think they'll all agree on this, on whatever policy? How will you get consensus? Then you will have no policy.
Madam, I think successful people in the West, they have also democracies, they have multiple stakeholders, but obviously it will take time in a particular decision, but their decision, ma'am, will be very fruitful.
In USA, they have a lot of think tanks that do contribute to their State Department. But the implementation of what the State Department does is very different from the recommendation that the great scholars give to the State Department. What's your view on that?
Madam, obviously, the scholars, the foreign policy experts, they do put for their recommendations. But ma'am, if not all the recommendations are followed, but obviously they are considered, and in case
are you sure they are considered?
Madam, in the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the very important scholar Mearsheimer criticized American involvement, extra disproportionate involvement in that event, and he was not heard. But now all the American public, they are debating the Mearsheimer thesis, the Mearsheimer opinion, and they criticize the government. The government should have listened to the scholars like Mearsheimer. So obviously their views are become the part of the public opinion and national debate.
But public opinion is the same thing as policy?
Not the same thing. Public opinion can be one of the inputs to the final policy.
You have read the book On China by Henry Kissinger. You know he died.
Yes, madam.
What is your take on the book?
Madam, the book is a historical analysis, the personal opinion, the personal narrative of Kissinger, how he interacted with the Chinese leaders, how what Pakistan role was, and how China history has, and he also prophesied the China superpower role in that book. So, madam, that book is enriched with contents, and those contents are very realistic, very rational, and many of them have proved very right. So, madam, it is as a student of international relations, IR, it is very fascinating and full of insightful analysis by that great scholar.
Why was Henry Kissinger so criticized?
Madam, he was criticized largely because of his reluctance to criticize the government when it invaded the Vietnam and it carry out certain attacks in that country. So for most of the criticism come from his reluctance to openly criticize the government when it comes to the Vietnam War.
So it was all right, not only the Vietnam, they also destroyed Laos and Cambodia.
Exactly, Cambodia, yes.
You know, so anyway, you've been Naib Tehsildar Irrigation. Pakistan is going to be a water-scarce country.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your solution to improving irrigation?
Madam, as far as improving irrigation is concerned, I think the modern technologies must be incorporated. For example, the sprinkling irrigation, the drip irrigation system should be employed. Pakistan should enter into mutual collaboration with countries like Japan, like China. The irrigation system should be the very central part of this CPEC projects. So
can't we do it ourselves?
Madam, we can, but obviously we don't have that capacity to create that technology within Pakistan. Obviously, we have to import it, and for that importation, I think understanding with other countries is very important. And madam, that technology concern also involves some very sophisticated and complicated technology, which at that level we haven't attained that level yet. So obviously, with other countries, cooperation is very important. But this is not the only solution. Yes, we can have certain homegrown solution as well. For example, we should start from individual use of water. We should improve the canal system by cementing it, by improving its it's a sedimentation. So homegrown solutions are also there, but international collaboration is also, I think, inevitable.
Thank you. Dr. Sam.
Well, Sohail Afridi, you read international relations. Can you tell me the impacts of positivism on subject of international relations? Impacts.
Impacts of positivism. Sir, positivism means that the state consent is, sir, the positivism, the approach to international relations.
Yes.
Sir, the approach to international relations means that the scientific approach should be employed.
What changes it brought in
Yes.
the international relations subject?
Sir, previously it was a normative subject. It was a normative subject. Scholars and those analysts, they would consider just values, norms, cultures, history, diplomacy of a particular country. But once that approach came, positivism, it brought the scientific method to the field.
Okay, can you tell me that Black Sea?
Okay.
The name those countries who shares the Black Sea.
So the Black Sea is shared by Russia. The Russia and certain other Balkan states.
Okay. Can you tell me that what are the similarities between Crimean War and Ukraine War?
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the first war,
Crimean War.
Crimean War,
Yes.
and the Ukraine War.
Yes.
Sir, in both the wars, Russia is the main stakeholder. In the Crimean War, it was Russia who was playing a very significant part.
And what was the second major stakeholder war in the Crimean War?
In the Crimean War, it was Turkey and the European coalition, including France and Germany. So
Germany was that at the time?
In the Crimean War,
Yes.
sir.
Germany tha?
Sir, it was the Piedmont. Piedmont, Sardinia was there, led by Bismarck. So there was no Germany, sir. You are very right, sir. Germany was not there, but the Germany predecessor state, that was Piedmont, it was there. So
Piedmont and Sardinia were predecessor states of Italy, not Germany. And you're wrong in saying by Bismarck. Bismarck was the leader of
Prussia.
Germany. Prussia, yes.
Prussia, yes, sir.
So correct yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Can you tell me that what finally concluded interpretations or critical aspects driven from the Peloponnesian Wars, and what it marked left on subject of international relations?
Sir, Peloponnesian War between the major Greek city-states,
Yeah.
the Athens, the Spartans.
Yes.
Sir, it was that war, and that war gave rise to certain conclusions about
Yes.
the international relations.
Yes.
And the main conclusion was realism. That debate come out that there is realism and there is idealism. Some states were talking in terms and in words of realism, others were in terms of idealism. So that great debate came out. That Peloponnesian War was exclusively driven by realistic thinking. That states.
Okay. Now I'm saying the names of some philosophers like Machiavelli, Hobbes, and Thucydides. What comes in your mind?
So they were realists.
Realists.
They were realists.
And John Locke, Rousseau,
They were idealists.
idealists. What is neoclassical realism?
New classical realism. Sir, there were that classical realism. Then came new
My
realism.
question is about neoclassical realism
Exactly, sir.
and its application in present day world.
Fine. Sir, in international relations, when we are thinking about a particular policy of a particular state, then we consider certain level of analysis. In level of analysis, there are individual level of analysis, state level of analysis, and international level of analysis. In new classical realism, it is a third debate. In classical realism, we consider individual level of analysis. In new classical realism, it is international system. And in new classical realism, as you said, both level of analysis must be considered. So that is a debate that not focus shouldn't be given exclusively either to individual or to an international system.
Okay, fine.
But both should be
Can you
considered.
tell me the two differences between Nazism and fascism?
So the two differences between the two ideologies were that Nazism focused and they prioritized the ethnicity of the German race. They believed on the martial race. So the blood of Nazis and Germans were very important when it comes to the ideology of Nazism. But in fascism, it was somehow more accommodative to other nations and other ethnicities as
And
well.
second,
Sir, I have to look at it.
do you believe in the, because being an Afridi, do you believe in the race theory
Sir,
of Nazis?
Sir, I don't believe in any, because the Germans themselves are not believing in it today.
What established Glorious Revolution?
So the Glorious Revolution was the power struggle between the stakeholders within the Britain, between the king and the parliament. The Glorious Revolution came and they
Why
demanded
not happened same Glorious Revolution in France? And the French Revolution was very bloody.
Sir, Britain was an industrialized country before the France was, and obviously when industry come, when capitalism come to a particular country, new forces.
Tell me the impact of 1848 Revolution.
1848 Revolution. It was the Glorious Revolution, sir.
1848 Revolution in France
Okay,
and in
France.
Central Europe.
Fine, sir.
Its impact.
Yes, sir. Impacts were that the power of the working class got precipitated. Working class rose against the rulers, the industrialist class, and so other was certain monarchies were decoupled. Sir, the main impact was that the Metternichism, which is an ideology, Metternich, it was demolished. Metternichism, which is equivalent to conservatism, anti-nationalism.
War of Buxar, when it happened?
War of Buxar. In 1764.
What it finally established?
Sir, it finally established the role of the East India Company.
And in 1757, which war happened?
It was the Battle of Plassey.
And what it concluded?
Sir, in concluded
What is major difference between Battle of Plassey and War of Buxar?
So the War of Buxar included other stakeholders as well, like the Oudh. Oudh was a new entity, new stakeholder came to the Buxar. It was not there in the Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey was exclusively between the.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's call it off. Chalenji, Sohail, you are on your way to make glory in your life. You are good. You have already qualified. You are sober and you are ambitious. आपकी stable personality है. So your communication are good. Oral as well as body language is fine. You are intelligent भी हैं, confident है. Knowledge level आपका reasonable है, but always a room for improvement.
Obviously, sir.
ठीक है ना? Sitting posture आपका ठीक है, voice impact आपका ठीक होता है. अच्छा, इंट्रोडक्शन आपने किया है, लेकिन इसको थोड़ा सा रिकास्ट कर लें, 1 पेजर बना दो.
अच्छा.
एक पेज 1 मिनट में डिलीवरी करनी है. Because that is a beginning where you have to sell yourself. Your salesmanship होती. आपने अपने आप को प्रेजेंट करना है कि मुझे 35 साल का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दो. तो उसके लिए you have to sell yourself in such a way. आपका जो है ना, you have got a story of struggle है आपकी. आप कहें जी कि मैं, ये जो नायब तहसीलदार भर्ती हुए कैसे हुए थे?
एग्जाम सर. एग्जाम था सर, ये एग्जैक्टली CSS की तरह एग्जाम.
हाँ, का पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन का या
पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन
KPK का?
जी.
तो वो बात बताओ. कहो जी कि मैं आई हैव डन माय ग्रेजुएशन. तो 2020 है, देन 21 जो इस साल में आप हुए, तो वो KPK का पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन का एग्जाम, तो मैंने उसमें क्वालिफाई किया. तो आई एम एज ए वर्किंग एज रेवेन्यू ऑफिसर. तो ये दिस इज योर अचीवमेंट. ये पॉजिटिव नोट में लेना है इसको.
अच्छा.
डोंट टेक इट कि भी मैं रेवेन्यू ऑफिसर हूँ. टेक इट इन ए पॉजिटिव नोट. एंड आई एम परसुइंग माय कैरियर गोल. आई वांट टू मेक प्रोग्रेशन इन लाइफ. और फिर मैंने CSS का दिया, PMS का दिया. वो दिया है वो, ये
PMS नहीं दिया.
हाँ, तो अजय भी ये फिर CSS का एग्जाम मैंने ये दिया है. तो आई हैव क्वालिफाइड बिफोर यू. ठीक है ना? इसको थोड़ा सा पॉजिटिव टोन में रखो. नॉलेज को कीप इट अप. इसको बड़ा न्यूज़पेपर पे जोर दो. पिछले 3 महीने के न्यूज़पेपर लेके उनको पढ़ो. उनमें इंटरनेशनल, नेशनल, सोशल, इकोनॉमिक इश्यूज सबको आइडेंटिफाई करो. एक दफ़ा पढ़ोगे तो सारे आइडेंटिकल हो जाते हैं.
ठीक है सर.
फिर नोटबुक बनाओ अपनी.
अच्छा,
नोटबुक में पॉइंट वाइज चलो, समथिंग लाइक दिस। जैसे ये नोटबुक है ना, इसी किस्म का एक पेज 1 2 3 4 पॉइंट, जैसा पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन बनती है ना,
जी जी सर,
उसी किस्म की बनाओ। और उसमें कम से कम 100 करंट टॉपिक आपके जो हो ना, उसमें आप आइडेंटिफाइड हो। एनर्जी क्राइसिस है, पॉलिटिकल क्राइसिस है, मिडल ईस्ट है, यूक्रेन है, ठीक है ना, इकोनॉमी पाकिस्तान की है, सोशल इश्यूज हैं, KPK है, उसके इशू है, टूरिज्म है, थिंग्स लाइक
जी
दैट।
जी बिल्कुल,
तो उनमें हाईलाइट करो, फिर उनको रिहर्स करते रहो, सुबह उठ के पढ़ते रहो रोज, वो तुम्हारे दिमाग में पॉइंट बैठ जाएंगे।
अच्छा सर,
फिर व्हेन यू विल स्पीक इन योर इंटरव्यू, तो फिर एटलीस्ट तुम्हें पता होगा कि मैंने पॉइंट 1 2 3 टच करना है,
एग्जैक्टली,
ठीक है ना। तो इस तरह तुम्हारे फोकस्ड हो जाओगे, तो यू विल मेक इट टू द गुड ग्रुप। आप सर,
ये डॉक्टर इशरत इबाद की आपका वो पर्सनैलिटी, वन ऑफ द पर्सनैलिटीज यू लाइक, लेकिन आपको उसका जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म उन्होंने प्रपोज की थी, उसका यू हैव नो आइडिया एट ऑल। ये यू शुड नो अबाउट इट, ठीक है। व्हेन यू, और स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर मेंशनिंग हिम एज योर फेवरेट पर्सनैलिटी, ठीक है। वो सबसे पहला सवाल यही आएगा जब आप लिखेंगे, पहला यही सवाल जैसे मैंने किया वो आपसे करेंगे।
सही है,
तो इसके बारे में ना आप स्टडी करें, जाएं देखें एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म्स जो इन्होंने प्रपोज की थी वो क्या थी, और कुछ उनमें इंट्रोड्यूस हुई है, कुछ अभी तक नहीं हुई है, ठीक है।
सही है,
हाँ, आप में पोटेंशियल है, यू हैव द पोटेंशियल, और यू कैन, आई एम श्योर, ज़रा सी अच्छी मेहनत करोगे तो अच्छे नंबर लोगे।
मुझे लगा कि आप बहुत से अपने जवाबों में अपनी लॉजिक को खुद कंट्रडिक्ट कर रहे हैं। When you give your answer, have logical coherence. I thought there was no coherence. जो आइडियाज आ रहे थे साथ रैंडमली बोल रहे थे, बट देन यू रियलाइज कि हो ये तो मैं इधर अब कैसे आगे चलूं। जो बात कह दोगे उस पर फिर सवालों पे सवाल शुरू होंगे। जैसे मैंने आपसे कड़ी से कड़ी जोड़ने शुरू की तो फिर आप फंस गए, ठीक है। सो पहले से ही ऐसी बात करो जो कि ज़्यादा स्वीपिंग स्टेटमेंट ना हो, ठीक है। फॉरेन पॉलिसी किस तरह से बनती है, डू स्टडी इट। किस तरह से इनपुट्स आती हैं, कहाँ कहाँ से आती हैं, एम्बेसी का स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, हाई कमिश्नर और एम्बेसडर में क्या फ़र्क है, ये सारी चीज़ जो आपने यहाँ लिखा है ना, इस पे अगर आप अबूर हासिल करोगे तो यूर विनिंग हॉर्स। अपनी हॉबीज़ को अगर लिमिट कर दो, पर जो भी लिखो उसमें फिर डिटेल पता हो, क्योंकि कुरान लिखा भी, कुरान की आयतों पे सवाल शुरू हो जाएंगे। एडवेंचरिज्म, एडवेंचर स्पोर्ट, तो वो फिर टूरिज्म, पाकिस्तान की एडवेंचर स्पोर्ट्स, उस पे बात आ जाएगी। इरिगेशन पे आप पे बहुत सवाल आएंगे, और फिर हाउस होल्ड वाटर यूज़ और इरिगेशन वाटर यूज़ में फ़र्क है। वाटर पॉलिसी पढ़ो, पाकिस्तान की वाटर पॉलिसी है, आपको पता है, उसको पढ़ो, उस पे सवाल आएंगे, ठीक है। आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट।
आपने बहुत मुश्किल क्वेश्चंस को तो बड़े ज़बरदस्त आंसर्स दे दी। मतलब आई वाज नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग कि आप पेलोपोनेसियन वॉर, थ्यूसिडाइड्स और रियलिज्म की तरफ आ जाएंगे। बहुत सारे आसान क्वेश्चन हैं, उसके आपने आंसर अच्छे नहीं किए। 1848 के रेवोल्यूशन को देखें और चीज़ों को जो है थोड़ा सा रिवाइज ज़रूर करें, जाने से पहले लाजमी रिवाइज कर लीजिएगा। और 57 की वॉर, 64 की वॉर जो ये बड़ी डिसाइसिव किस्म की वॉर थी, दैट लेड डाउन द फाउंडेशन ऑफ ब्रिटिश एम्पायर, ठीक है। और कैसे उनको दीवानी राइट्स मिल गए। एक ने जो है नॉमिनल रूल स्टार्ट किया था, एक ने उनको फर्दर जो इनहेंस करते थे उसके रूल को, उनके पास दीवानी राइट्स आ गए थे, ठीक है। और ज़्यादा मैंने आपसे चीज़ें नहीं पूछी, आपका पोटेंशियल अच्छा है, चीज़ों को रिवाइज करेंगे और ठीक से क्वेश्चन सुन के आंसर करेंगे तो आपका स्कोर अच्छा आ जाएगा फाइनल डे में।
चलो, बेस्ट ऑफ लक। हम कहते हैं ना, अच्छा तुम्हारा ग्रुप है।
इंशाल्लाह, थैंक यू।